Good morning, YouTubers and God's owners. I just checked out a few comments on the Truthiracy. Still can't pronounce it. Truthiracy video that I made, and there's a lot of comments from guys like the Truthiracy guy who made the video under the same spell of beliefs that want to help us all into a disbelief in Jesus so we can get on with the truth and then better ourselves. So I'm gonna make a video confronting some of those attitudes. One of the attitudes I'll read here. I mean, there's several of them, but I'll read this one. He says, "Guy, you just don't know. I just feel bad for you. I really think you," and then comma, I'm not sure what that means, like the vast majority of people, are simply incapable of critical thinking. I'm not saying you are anything negative, just very low connective function. Jesus is a character in a book, and you simply cannot prove otherwise without citing that very same book as evidence. The book is all you have. You do not worship any God, you worship a book. The book has something to offer, but it's not what you think it is, God. And I guess that sums up a lot of how people like this think and feel. They have a tendency to look down on people who dare to be wrong and dare to have faith in Jesus Christ, dare to be laughed at and scoffed at, or by people who don't. But you know, it's always been that way, man. It's nothing new. I understand many of their points. I mean, the book is infallible. I mean, I believe that. I believe the book has had people like themselves tampering with the book. I think the God was written in purity, and I think that very mentality that they exhibit in their quest of helping us all to death has infiltrated the book. I think man has always had a tendency to use his own self-righteous indignation to help mankind, and it's always been a farce. It's always been a disaster. So I mean, I can understand your point about people worshiping a book. You know, God tells us in that very same book that He wants things to be written on your heart, not so much as, you know, paying attention to the letter of the law so much. To me, there's a sentiment, and there is an intent within that book that is God. And you all laugh at, you know, the vehicle that is used to get more of God's intent across to man than any other vehicle on the face of the earth, which is that book. And you're quick to point out its infallibilities, and you're quick to point out where it fails. You're quick to point out that it's just a book. But what many of you are so stupid in your intelligence, are too stupid in your intelligence to understand, is that God had to write something. He had to communicate, because there is a gulf between you and God. You are in hell. There is this gulf between you and Him. He's in a spiritual dimension and you're in a physical dimension. So it just makes sense that God is going to use some form of communication, and if it can be seen or read or touched by the flesh, it therefore has to be able to be defiled by the flesh. So it's kind of like up to you to sort through and figure out what has been defiled by man and what has not, and to sift through all the confusion to find God's intent that He has for you. But I mean, doesn't it make sense that God has to communicate with you some way if He's going to reach you? So what is so ridiculous or hard to believe that He communicated through the writings of man? Why can't you understand that this is not the pen? The hand that wields the pen is the pen of God. He writes through man. And if man's an imperfect being, if man's an imperfect thing, and also the translators who's going to retranslate and rescribe the things that God might have shared with a certain individual in the pen, it's going to be defiled by our own doing. It's a tangled, it's a web. The only thing that can get you out of this tangled, this web, is something very simple. It's a shortcut. It's a slingshot. It is faith. It is the ship that will get you off of this rock. Without that ship of faith, you're always going to be too smart, smarter than God. You're going to be smart and figure. Right now you feel that you're so much smarter than God that God doesn't even have a method that He can communicate with you. And He's given you the method to communicate with you. He's given you what it takes. He's given you the ability to have faith, and He's given you the ability to read the Bible as well as other books to sift through to figure out what's His and what's not, and what's important. I think Jesus was of that intent. I think Jesus was the answer to all these mysteries and problems that you're having with your faith. Jesus is like at the outcome of all this. I think all this shit has happened before many times. And it's like Jesus is the answer to all this. Because once you take on to that faith, you become part of something bigger and better than yourself. Something much smarter than you can ever become. I mean, not to be insultful or cruel, but you know, as smart as you become, you're still going to be on that deathbed. You're still going to be with that death having a victory over you. You're still, man, look how smart Einstein was. And still he had to go through that same door. He still had to go through that same battle. So my advice to you and all the type that would like to help us all even unto our deaths, and help us out of this captivity and bondage that you think we have with Jesus Christ. I think you're making an assumption, and I think it was an assumption that was forced on you by the powers that be. That not all Christians are dumbasses. Not all Christians are like the people you see on TV espousing Christianity. I mean, some Christians are very well founded, and they're happy, and they're doing quite well. They're better neighbors. They're better citizens. They're better community type people because of their Christianity. But you know, you, like I said in one of the other videos, and I believe it, you already have the outcome that you want. You want something different. Christianity left you flat. I get it. I understand it. It left me flat. Christianity will leave anybody flat as the way it's perceived by the masses today. I mean, how can it not? I mean, when you're raised with Jimmy and Tammy Faye Baker on the TV and a bunch of big hair, boobling, crying idiots espousing Christianity, it's easy to understand that you don't want any part of Christianity. It's stupid. And that is exactly why those people are on TV. They are placed there by the people I mentioned in another video. The ones who say they're of our brother Judah and do lie. That's why Christianity looks like it is a body of buffoons to the world today. But we're not all like that. I mean, some of us came through. Some of us came through the babble and the confusion. And my best advice is to you is keep seeking God and keep asking God for the truth. And God will definitely know what's in your heart, and He's going to give you what you're looking for. And therein lies the key. We are going to find what we are looking for. So I appreciate your comments. I really do. All of you, even the ones that's negative and stuff. At least it's a communication. At least it's a line where things grow. So I do appreciate your time and your effort and your communique. And I thank you for your attempt in helping me wake up. And don't get me wrong, I've learned a lot of things from people like you. I've learned a lot of things about, government, how crooked the government became, and most of the conspiracy stuff on the internet comes from people much like yourselves who feel they've outgrown the need for belief in Jesus Christ. So I'm not saying you don't have a value. You do, and I validate that. That you do have a value in the plan of God. But it's a fruitless venture, man, to try to shake some people's faith off of Jesus Christ. Some people don't have the ability uh, uh, to be shaken off of Jesus Christ. So I just wanted to make this quick video, and I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Again, not trying to be negative or get involved in a bunch of who's got the bigger spiritual dick around here, confusion, horseshit babble, because it's all a dead end. It just causes anger and negativity and gets nobody nowhere. So I thank you for your opinions, and I hope you appreciate mine. And good morning, everybody, people of Earth.